Now, concussions, they can be serious. Bryce Curry, a 35-year-old husband and dad, ended up with all kinds of issues.
He was in the hospital for 2 days and then suffered for about 2 years. A specific type of care called NUCA was the difference maker.
It was, and Bryce is here to share his story. And from the Spinal Balance Health Center, Dr. Drew Drummond. Good morning, gentlemen.
Nice to meet you, Bryce. Good to see you again, Dr. Drummond.
In some cases, your patients, doctor, don't know what happened. Bryce, in this case, you know exactly what happened. It was a specific incident of trauma. Explain what happened.
Yeah, I was going for my morning ride and on my road bike and took a fall, and that's about all I remember. And then I woke up on the way down to the hospital and had suffered a pretty bad concussion that had knocked me out pretty good, and was dazed and confused for sure.
The hospital stay lasted, as I said, 2 days, but then for 2 years after you were discharged, you continued to experience a range of symptoms. Some of them were awful.
Right.
What were you going through?
Yeah, it can be very scary, and you can kind of feel like you're on an island by yourself. Because you're looking for answers, right? Trying to put the puzzle together, and so you're on kind of a journey, and it gets frustrating when you kind of can't find those answers. So I had the start of headaches that became worse and worse, and they were kind of like a band around my head, getting tighter and tighter, and then vertigo and dizziness would follow, and it just would disrupt my day. And then those gradually turned into what I call ice pick headaches in the back of the head.
Oh my gosh.
That at that point I was like, all right, something's going on. So my dad took me to the ER, and we did some follow-up visits with various doctors on that, and it just was really debilitating.
An ice pick headache does not sound very comforting.
No.
And so how did this affect your day-to-day activities?
It was truly a disruption, and that wasn't good for me, because in my job I have to communicate a lot in meetings and calls and stuff, and so it disrupted my concentration, myself being a dad. I found myself not wanting to go out and play with the kids because I was focused on this pain I was having.
I imagine you tried all kinds of things.
Yeah. You try all kinds of things when you're in that mode, especially when you're several months, 6, 8 months into this and not going away. Honestly, you do some self-medicating, which I don't encourage. You do all kinds of things, and you're just searching. You're searching for answers.
Anything
You will. You really will.
Some of the pain. Dr. Drummond, what was it about him that you noticed right away? Was there anything specific that you said, I've got a fix for this?
Well, anybody that comes in with headaches, immediately I'm encouraged, because it's a really common problem for what I fix. But what we look at is an atlas misalignment. The bone at the top of his neck through this accident that he'd had become misaligned, or maybe it was already misaligned and just got worse. We don't know that. But when the bone at the top of the neck is out of place, it starts interfering with the nervous system, and you can see your nervous system conducts information throughout your entire body through your nervous system, like we're seeing here. And right at the base of the skull, this becomes interrupted, and there's any number of neurological functions that can be affected. And for him, what he just described. But the accident did something to the top of his neck to misalign the atlas.
Is that uncommon? So you're saying it was the accident, it wasn't this concussion that caused the atlas issue?
Most of the people that come into my office with headaches that are being caused by an atlas issue don't have a concussion in their history. It can happen that there's also a concussion, and that confuses things, because we know about post-concussion syndrome, and the medical profession kind of keys in on that aspect of this, what might be causing the symptoms. But in reality, almost all the time there's a concussion, there's a real good possibility of an upper cervical misalignment that then just muddies up the symptoms, and it's hard to figure out. But we looked for the atlas misalignment, and that was what it was.
Yeah, how about other types of headaches? Maybe not something caused by trauma?
The ice pick headaches.
The ice pick headache.
He has one of those unusual headaches that I've never had anybody else in my office that's came in and said, I have an ice pick headache, and described it just like him. But we've had cluster headaches, stress headaches, migraine headaches of all kinds. And we've had them that they've worked through the medical system all the way to the Mayo Clinic and been evaluated with no help. And then they come into our office, and we find out the reason it wasn't diagnosed is because it was an upper cervical problem. And there's very few people that look for it, which is unfortunate, because it accompanies so many headaches. But we see it all.
Yeah. How are you feeling today, Bryce?
I'm feeling really good. It's a process, and I trust Dr. Drummond fully on this journey. But immediately over the first few adjustments, I started noticing just a feeling of well-being that I hadn't felt before, because I've been so anxious about everything. And also my posture, and just most importantly, the headaches were greatly reduced, if not. I haven't had an ice pick headache in months now, so I'm thankful for that.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Stop saying ice pick headache.
Sorry.
I'm getting a headache.
No, but boy, do we get the picture
Yeah,
as you describe it that way.
It's a great adjective that you use.
Yeah.
What were you surprised when you went in to see Dr. Drummond on how it provided some relief, because you had tried so many other things?
Yeah, right. Yeah, so you kind of go into stuff cautiously because you've tried so much, but you have faith and hope, and you believe in what they're telling you. The one thing I really liked about Nuka is there's a lot of tangibility that he sits down and goes through a lot of the data on the X-rays and stuff that really kind of helps provide some understanding. So yeah, I've been very thankful.
I mean,
for
as
the
a
results.
doctor, he sits down and explains things to you.
Imagine
Yeah.
that. Dr. Drummond, how do our viewers know if they might benefit the way Bryce has?
Yeah, ultimately they need to come into the office and have me look at them. They're one of the things that we've talked about neck and back pain a lot on this show because the posture is affected by an upper cervical misalignment. So when I look at a person's posture, that really starts leading me into believing whether there's an upper cervical problem or not. And then we'll take X-rays, and that's really the ultimate diagnosis and allows me to have the information to know what to do with it.
And there's a nice offer that Dr. Drummond brings. We think this value is exceptional. Maybe you'll see that too. The first 15 people who call his office, you'll receive a consultation, exam, and X-rays, that whole bundle for only $50. But again, it is limited to 15 people, so let's show you the number. That way you can call his office and make an appointment. It's 452-3400, and then online it's spinalbalancehc.com.
Bryce, are you riding your bike yet?
I'm back up.
You're back on.
Yep, back
great.
up. And I also wanted to thank my Aunt Kathy because she referred me to Dr.
Oh,
Drummond. So I gotta,
way to
I
go,
gotta
Aunt
thank
Kathy.
her because it's really been helping.
We're glad to see you're doing
we all
so
need
well.
an Aunt Kathy.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Doctor.
Dr. Drummond.
Thank you for having me.
Yesterday